Curling Alberta's 50-50 supports grassroots curling with a jackpot of at least $100,000. I know! Brace yourself. Join us aged 18 plus in nurturing these future curling stars. Support grassroots curling with Curling Alberta.
So you're a pizza person, but you're married to a wing person, and your kids are salad people? You can't pick your fam, but with over 50 menu items to choose from, you can make them all happy. Order today and enjoy Boston Pizza at home.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
What do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Curling Alberta's 50/50 supports grassroots curling with a jackpot of at least $100,000. I know! Brace yourself. Join us aged 18 plus in nurturing these future curling stars. Support grassroots curling with Curling Alberta.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Alberta Optimist Under-18 Provincial Championships located at the Leduc Curling Club in Leduc, Alberta. I'm joined tonight by Taryn Algott. My name is Stephen Leong, and we will be bringing you coverage of the girls' 1 versus 2 game versus Lila Cooey and Abby DeZormo. We have lead rock thrower for Team Cooey, Rachel Sipka. And the lead for Team DeZormo is Savannah Becca.
You're throwing it good, make sure you're throwing the time.
My apologies here. It looks like the lead rock thrower for today's game will be the alternate, Ella Cardinal. And second rock thrower for Team DeZormo is second Molly Whitbread.
Looking like both teams here just playing for the blank this end. Just smart play in these first ends to just feel out the ice and get comfortable before you start getting too into the game.
We have second rock thrower here for Team Cooey, Casey Johnston. And so, Taryn, I'll ask you this. It's a 1-2 game, so you know in the back of your mind that you have an extra life should you lose this game. But what is your mindset going into a 1 versus 2 game, would you say?
Well, with the Page playoff system this year, it definitely helps with some of the nerves that you're not out if you lose like in previous years. But everyone's got that final on their mind. You're going to go out there and play hard because you want to get in that gold medal match. You don't want to have to drop down and fight through the 2-3 game.
Yeah, I agree for sure. If you can win this game and not leave it to chance the next game, I think that's the best bet. I'm sure they all have a little bit of nerves going into this game, but I think with playing this end wide open and keeping it clean, they'll get rid of those nerves pretty quickly. And as we see here for Team Cooey, their third rock thrower is Claire Corneal. third rock thrower here for Team Zormo is Julia Kennedy.
Actually, it looks like for this game, Team Desormo is opting to play their 5th as Molly Whitbread throwing the 3rd stones. I believe we have
Looks like you're right.
Cameron Adams out there as well. So both teams, whether maybe there's a sickness or injury, opting to play their 5th for this game.
Yeah, sorry about that. You're absolutely correct, Taryn. Looks like they're both putting in their alternates. The reason we don't know, obviously, whether it is sickness, injury related, or just even rest. Well, as I had mentioned earlier, this is the 1 versus 2 game in the new Page playoff system for this year's Alberta Optimist Under-18 Provincial Championships. We do have one other girls matchup happening right now, and that is the 3 versus 4 Page playoff game between Emma de Skiffert and Elena Yurko. The winner of that will play the loser of this game in the semifinal tomorrow morning. That rock looks like it just avoids the back yellow there and avoids the jam. So yellow is sitting 1 right now with the hammer. The coaches for both teams, for Team Cooey is Atina Ford Johnston, and for Team Desormo is Glenn Kennedy. And we see the delivery here from Skip, Team Desormo, Abby Desormo. And she avoids the jam at the back, rolls back for back edge of the button, center line. And we have delivery coming for the skip of Team Cooey, Lila Cooey. So Taryn, I'll ask you this, with a wide open end happening here and with some of those throws, you're not really in the pregame practice practicing those hits. All your practices or draws are going towards the center. What kind of weight would you be throwing for hits?
That's a great question, Stephen. A lot of the times with my team, it really just depends on the ice. Typically in Leduc, you have very quick ice here, so I'd be throwing, maybe a 10-5. Really trying to keep your shooters, and then maybe if you get a rollout, you can work on your draw weight as a team, carrying that into the next end.
Yeah, I agree. I also like throwing that 10.5 second wait. So you can still manage a little bit of the sweepers versus throwing maybe 9.5 or even 9 second takeout.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see here Abby DeZormo opting to play a freeze, it looks like, on that back yellow. Put some pressure onto Lila Kui with her last rock.
Yeah, I like this call here. There's no risk involved in this shot, and maybe you'll get your stone to jam on Kui's blank attempt. And that one looks like it just chaps off that back yellow stone, but a very good attempt early in this game, going down a brand new path. So we'll see the blank attempt here for Team Kui. Looks like they're going to be playing the out turn at this. Is this the turn that you'd be playing as well, Taryn?
I think so. With that Yellowstone being on the right side, just, even if you nose it, you take your one, not the worst. And this is easier to roll out as well for your blank. Absolutely the turn I'd be throwing.
So final stone here. First end from Team Kui, looking for the out turn blank. Looks like the sweepers are on it early here. And they are gonna nose it and be forced to 1. So the score after the first end of play is Team Kui 1, Team DeZormo 0. We'll be back after a few short messages.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardlines Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
Curling Alberta's 50/50 supports grassroots curling with a jackpot of at least $100,000. I know! Brace yourself. Join us aged 18 plus in nurturing these future curling stars. Support grassroots curling with Curling Alberta.
Welcome back to the Alberta Optimist Under-18 Provincial Championships located in Leduc Recreation Center in Leduc, Alberta. My name is Stephen Leong, and I'm joined here by Taryn Alcott. So Taryn, we just saw a pretty open end. Kui did end up getting forced by sticking their shooter on the blank attempt. Team DeZormo, you're down 1, you have hammered the second end. Are you looking to score your deuce here, or are you okay keeping it open for another end?
Me personally, it's always good to have hammer in the even ends here. If they manage to, it does look like they're playing a bit cleaner, but I'd be a fan of putting up a corner guard, trying for your 2, and if you take 1, you do have the advantage of having your hammer in the even ends. It does look like they'll be opting to maybe look for another blank.
I agree, it does look like that, but they could be opting for the delayed corner guard too. So we will find out, especially if Team Kui does knows this stone coming up here.
Yes, and I'm a big fan personally of playing that delayed corner. Just getting that rock of theirs out of the forefoot, putting up your corner guard, often leads to a lot better setup with hammer.
Yeah, I agree for sure. And it looks like that rock just flashes the red stone, the top edge of the 4. So Team Dezormo can either split the house or they can put up that delayed corner guard like we had just mentioned.
Does look like this rock will not be a guard, be in the house. Steven, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this. A lot of times we see in these early end scenarios where you have a chance to split the house and see your deuce. A lot of the time it doesn't end up in being a deuce because you have so many rocks left to make a double. Do you prefer, would you split the rings here or would you be throwing a corner guard?
I would have been throwing a corner guard. That was the last of your lead stones, and there's so many rocks left. There's so many opportunities for Kui to make a double, or there's so many opportunities for Dezormo to maybe not split the rings perfectly, right? And so I think you had the opportunity with the 5 rock rule to put up that corner guard. So I didn't love the call, but looks like Team Kui did just roll out, so they do have another opportunity to split the house here. This rock also slips into the rings, and it looks like they were calling for the draw, and that's... You couldn't have put that stone in a better spot there. That's perfectly split
right,
as
Steven.
far across the rings. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it did go maybe a little deep of what they're calling, but with the other one being deep as well, there's absolutely no double there. It's quite a good setup for red here.
It is, and Team Kui has to be careful not to roll out, as there isn't much wiggle room there to stick around as well. And they will hit the rock, they will roll away, so they will stick in the rings, but they are second shot.
I wonder, given the placement of this yellow, if Dezormo will opt to maybe freeze to it. Does look like they're playing the hit, but you know, you could just throw that same freeze to it you did on Cameron's first.
Yeah, that's probably the shot I would have went with. You know the path, you've just thrown the rock. Now you're playing a wide out or near the board, and no one knows what the ice will do out there. So, not my preferred call, but if they stick around, it's just as good as drawing there as well.
Great shot there.
Beautiful hit there,
Cameron
stick
Adams.
around. That is textbook there. So as we see this end unfold, Taryn, I was going to ask you, you've been around, you've been to nationals before, you've been in tons of provincials. Throughout a week, you know, the grind is it's quite a bit, right? You're curling a lot of games, you're throwing a lot of stones, you're sweeping a lot. What do you do, and what does your team do to mentally and physically prepare?
Yeah, these provincials, especially when you have the 8-team round robin, is a real grind. You know, being a front end player for most of my career, these are the games you really start to feel that burn sweeping. But I've always stressed the importance of stretching, before and after games to stay focused. And my team, we just love to, go over our goals pre-game and post-game to help us stay focused after these long weeks.
It's supposed to be a 3. We're going for a super.
Sweepers of Team Dezormo have backed right off the stone. But it looks like it will stick around. It will stick around back edge, the 8 foot just behind the T line. There is a roll opportunity here for Team Kui, and to even just group your stones. The double is quite hard, but if you can roll your shooter to the center line and group those 2 stones, there could be a double opportunity later on that. And they will roll to the back edge of the 4. Sit shot stone right now. It looks like they will nose that yellow and sit the 2. It doesn't look like there's an easy double though, it looks pretty steep. But if you can roll over near that red, that would be pretty good too if you're Lila and team.
Yeah, the double here just a bit too steep to attempt. So, but if you can make that roll right over on top and set up a jam, it would be a pretty great shot.
Would you ever consider turn? I know we've seen all the out turn hits so far, but would you ever be tempted to throw that in turn hit to potentially make the double should you hit it a little bit too thin?
That's definitely something to consider. I think with these hit and rolls, it really is up to preference whether you play them into the rock or across the face. And it looks like it's just it's like Team Kui likes to play their hit and rolls across the face as they're opting to play here. And it will end up just being nose.
Yeah, so that was the first stone for team, or first of the skip stones for Team Kui there, as we see the first skip stone for Team Dezormo here. If your team Kui here, and there is no double opportunity after this stone, would you be okay? Would you be tempted just to nose or even try to make the double? And if you don't, giving up 2 is not the end of the world.
I think if we see if Abby Dezormo manages to nose this stone and sit it right there, honestly, I feel like I'd be attempting the double, even if it's tough. Just as long as you make contact with that stone, you're giving up a deuce either way. If you nose it, it's still 2, so you might as well try.
And this stone will maybe roll half a stone inside. So no really easy double opportunity there, as it looks pretty steep from where we can see. So it looks like Lila Kui has opted for the hit and roll in front of the red stone to create a potential jam opportunity.
I don't mind this call, given it's the exact same spot she threw her first, most likely playing the same weight. And she knows her first one, so you just tighten up that ice a little, and they should be really close to making that perfect roll.
Yeah, I like that for sure too. Just through that same out turn draw like you had just mentioned, down the same path, so you know what it'll do. Find out here. Last stone for Team Kui here. And this one looks like it's tracking a little bit. And it will just get to nose. So Team Desormo will have a open hit for their deuce in the second end. So final stone of the second end. Team Desormo looking for the out turn hit and score their deuce. It looks like they're on this early to hold it here.
And a great sweep
They made
there.
no problem sticking around. Yes, that was a very good sweep. So after 2 ends of play, it's Team Desormo up 2-1. We'll be back after a few short messages.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
And welcome back to the 2025 Curling Alberta Optimist U18 Provincial Championship here in Leduc, Alberta, as we watch Team Desormo and Team Kui battle it out for a chance to get to the final of this provincial championship. My name is Taryn Alga. I'm joined by Stephen Leong as we take the action to the third end here. Desormo up 1 without the hammer.
It looks like Team Kui here with this call is going for the blank end here, on end number 3. Is that what you would be playing is for the blank, or do you like trying to get your deuce here in the third end?
You know, I think personally, if I was Kui, would be throwing a corner guard. But if it's really preference on that one. If you want to take the hammer, play a little safer, take the hammer back and 4, get the hammer back in the evens, I could see that. But I would like to see the team start throwing some guards here, getting into it a little more.
Yeah, I agree. It's been a fairly open game up to this point. But as I say that, looks like Kui is going for the delayed corner guard here, and we might get some action here in the third end of play.
Just a little hot with that one. Looks like Steven, I think it's some really quick ice here in Leduc because we're seeing a lot of these teams missing on the heavier side with their draws here.
Yeah, I agree. Even with this morning's match, looks like when everyone's drawing, they're typically missing, if they are missing, on the heavier side, which I agree does make me believe that the ice is pretty quick to start.
Another heavy draw there for Team Desormeaux. It's tough when you play those 2 blank ends in a row throwing, mostly hits, and then you switch to trying to play a more drawing game. It's tough to make that switch, especially on ice as quick as Leduc.
Yeah, I agree for sure. And I think this comes down to communication, right? We know that, well, both teams, right, they've been playing hits for most of the game. And so I think it's important for both teams to be able to communicate the fact that the ice is really quick and that both teams have been throwing it through. So we do need to dial back that weight a little bit and let our sweepers manage the rocks a little bit more rather than just watch the rocks sail by.
Just a little bit wide there on that takeout. And it actually will sit as a corner guard now out of the rings. So Team Cooey with a chance to draw under and maybe set up for a deuce here in the third end.
Yeah, a little bit of a mistake there. You probably wanted to either roll into the rings or even if you roll right out. This does, like you mentioned, leave the corner guard for Team Cooey here to wrap around.
Come around, will just come up a little light, but really not a bad miss there. Now having the 2 corner guards, it's definitely the pro miss on that shot.
Yeah, I agree for sure. Anything light there, like you said, was the pro side miss. And that yellow isn't very easy to remove out of play either with both terms. If you jam into that red guard, or if you play that intern field, you could jam into that back 12 stone in the house as well. So even though it wasn't what they called for, that really isn't bad placement of that stone.
Some good rock placement there by Team Desormeaux, putting up the guard just a little higher. And now it's really tough to get under that corner for Team Cooey with how much it curls. They're almost choking it off there. So Team Cooey will have to draw under the center now.
It looks like they were on this all the way, and now they're switching to sweep to get a little bit more curl, and it does look like it will sit buried underneath, maybe showing a sliver on the outturn side, but that's a really good shot there by Team Cooey.
it's so close to perfect on that draw there. You just throw a foot less weight and they would be shot rock, top button frozen. So close on that one.
Very close. But this does open the door for Team Kui here to sink another one right on top. They just threw the stone, so thrower knows what the weight is. The sweepers should have a really good feeling of what it will do with the rock traveling down. And Lila herself in the house should know how the rock will curl coming into the house.
Sweepers are on it to curl. Get it by the corner. Sweeping it back to that red one. And it will stop full top 4. Hard to tell who's shot here. It could be 2 yellow right now.
Yeah, very close here. I would have to think, it looks like to me that yellow is sitting 2, but it is, like you had mentioned, very close to tell who is second shot at this point. Well, as we see Team Zormo calling a timeout, that is Coach Glenn Kennedy discussing what shot they should be playing. And Glenn Kennedy happens to be the brother of Mark Kennedy, who is currently on Team Jacobs right now.
Yeah, both these teams here have incredibly high-level coaches, with Team Kui being coached by Atina Ford Johnson, who just recently won the 2024 Seniors Championships, and Glenn Kennedy having multiple Brier appearances under his belt.
Yes, these teams look like they're going to coach very well. Looks like they're very technically sound. Their deliveries, their sweeping, and even their communication as well.
Great shot there from Abby DeZormo with the double takeout to sit 1.
Yeah, that was a very hard shot there. And the yellow was probably always going to be touching that back redstone. But now that redstone is moved off a little bit, off the 4-foot, touching a little bit of the back 8. And it's still mostly buried behind that center guard as well. So not an easy chase as well. As Atina Ford Johnson is talking to her team about what to do here, what would you be playing with your skips first rock here in the third end?
I think, Steven, with how high that center guard is and how much curl they're having right now, I'd probably hit that back 4 stone and maybe just try and roll over a little, and you would sit 2 for yellow there. And then it'd be a tough decision from Team DeZormo if they want to draw under and risk giving up 3, or maybe play it safer and just hit.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I think you definitely want to be sitting 2 after this shot here. And then, like you said, make DeZormo here have a tough final throw here.
Lila Kui will end up touching both red stones, now sitting 2 here in the third end.
Yeah, that was a great shot here as we see in our replay. Um, Outside sweeper, which I love a lot, is communicating with the person in the house, and then you have the inside sweeper with their heads down all the way. And great weight control too. You didn't need to whip that a lot, and looked like they only played like a hack weight, maybe bumper weight. That was a great team shot there by Team Cooey.
Abby DeZormo with her final stone in the third end.
Sorry, Taryn. Looks like there is one more stone to come here at the end, but that was the final stone for Team DeZormo in the third end.
Yes, sorry. Abby DeZormo's last rock.
No, you're all good. But it did look like that she did wreck on her own guard. So it looks like it will be an open draw to the full 12 for 3 points for Team Cooey here. So this is the final stone of the third end by Team Cooey, looking for a full piece of the 12 here. And it looks like the sweepers are just guiding it in. And it will stop in the back 8 for 3 points.
Big score of 3 there for Team Cooey. Score is now going into the fourth end. Team Cooey 4, Team DeZormo 2. We'll be back shortly after a few messages from our sponsors.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
So you're a pizza person, but you're married to a wing person, and your kids are salad people? You can't pick your fam, but with over 50 menu items to choose from, you can make them all happy. Order today and enjoy Boston Pizza at home.
And welcome back to the 2025 Alberta Optimist Under-18 Provincial Championships. I'm joined by Taryn Algott. My name is Stephen Leong, and we're here in the fourth end. Team Cooey up 4-2 with Team DeZormo having the hammer. So Taryn, Cooey just put a 3-ball up to make it a 2-point game. If you're Team DeZormo here and you have your little discussion after that third end, what is your mindset going into the fourth?
Well, there's definitely a lot of game left. You can't get too wrapped up in the fact that you're down points, you know. You have hammer in the evens. There's still, 5 whole ends of play left. Put up your guard, get some rocks in play and see what happened. They had their chances last end, didn't quite go their way, but yeah, lots of game left, just got to stay in it.
Yeah, and then I guess the other question is your Team Kui. You just scored 3. You're looking at the scoreboard. You're up 2 right now. But how are you approaching this end from Team Kui's perspective?
I know it's, for our team at least, when you get a big score like that, 3-4 points, it's easy to get carried away and, you lose focus a bit. So you have to tell yourself the same thing, there's lots of game left, they can come back, have to stay focused, keep doing what we're doing, it's working obviously, play a little safer, put some more rocks in play some more hits, but just there's a lot of game left, gotta stay focused, even though you are up points.
Yeah, for sure, and then especially with the 5 rock rule, right? There's can be so many rocks in play, so much junk up front.
Of course.
So the 5 rock rule does benefit teams that are down, and we've seen that for the last few years, or since the 5 rock rule has been introduced.
Yes, and I believe this would be the first U18 championship with the no tick rule, if I'm correct. So that also then allows, that allows for more rocks in play and just more aggressive play to be encouraged. So definitely gonna be a lot of chances for Desormeaux to get their points here.
Absolutely. As we see the Team Desormeaux stone get maybe a quarter to a third buried under that corner guard, but it does look like Team Kui is going to ignore it right now and try to draw behind their center guard, just off the center guard. It does look like this stone will come up a little bit light. And that will give the opportunity to Team Desormeaux to draw behind 2 yellows and potentially sit shot rock here. One thing I noticed too, Taryn, and I'm interested in your opinion here, is we can see behind Coach Glenn Kennedy that there are time clocks, and all the teams this week have been timed, as this is provincial championship. When you're curling on the ice, you're probably not trying to pay too much attention to the time that your team has left. So as a team, do you delegate keeping time to one person, or does everyone usually keep an eye on that time clock?
It's definitely a shared responsibility for the team, but a lot of times it more so ends up on the skip because they're more involved in playing into that time clock. They can choose to play a more open end, play quicker, bank some time, or you can throw 2 guards up and you can come right around and you'll definitely have a slower end there. So, I know when I skipped, especially, it was always, I never liked looking at the clock. It always gave me anxiety about running out of time, but it's shared responsibility. The lead can always, lead or second, remind the skip, right, let's play a little quicker, the coach even, so.
Yeah, and then I'm sure it goes different for each team, right? Like, there are a lot of teams, like you had mentioned, that it is a shared responsibility. Maybe the skip is the one that keeps track of the time because they are the one calling the games. They are the one that are controlling the pace of play. But you also see some teams as well that they'll just delegate it just to one person, that not everyone is worrying about the time clock. It does come down to each team's dynamics, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Team Kui will opt for the peel attempt here, trying to clear some of those corner guards.
And they do end up getting rid of the guard, but they do push that red stone. But it does look like yellow is still sitting shot stone back 8, but it is very close to see who is shot stone right now.
You know, Steven, that's almost sneaky good, I think, there, tapping that red in the house, because you did push it open, and now sitting top 12 with those 2 staggered guards, if you can get a rock under there, you know, maybe you draw wide to that red, you'd be set up for a steal.
Yeah, it is a sneaky good placement for that. Even with Team Nazormo hitting that back one, you could almost ignore all the rocks in play after the stone is settled down. And like you had mentioned, you can draw in turn behind those 3 yellows. You're looking pretty good for a steal here in the 4th end if you're Team Kui. And they will just get by the yellows there. And they'll actually roll inside underneath those yellows back 8. So it does look like Team Nazormo is sitting 3 right now, with the hammer in the 4th end down by 2.
So Steven, what do you think here? Would you be trying to blast, make some kind of double, clear some rocks away? Or would you be more, you know, inclined to take advantage of those 3 guards you have and, you know, sneak a rock in there?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me personally, I look at the scoreboard and say, if you give up 2 in the 4th end, that's not the end of the world. Giving up a 3 isn't ideal, so I don't mind hitting one of the reds. I do like this call here that Kui is calling for, the hit and drop under. I think if you can get that right underneath, it'll be really good for them. And it looks like they do make the double. That is a great shot there by Team Kui.
Yeah, great double there from 3rd Claire Corneille.
And they do also, the big thing there is they do also stick around their shooter to sit shot stone as well. So Team Nazormo does have to deal with that yellow stone sitting out in the edge of the 12 there. It looks like Team Nazormo will roll maybe a stone inside, but not fully underneath the yellows. So this does give an opportunity for Team Kui to play the hit and roll under the yellow and sit shot stone here. They're going at this early here, trying to get it by their own yellow, and they will just squeak by. They will roll far, however, but it will end up, looks like maybe a little bit underneath that top 12 red. So not a bad result there for Team Kui. Does make this shot for Team Nazormo a little bit tricky here.
It's always difficult in these shots where you're playing on ice that's so curly and you are throwing inside out, which tends to curl a little bit more, and you have to get by your own stone in the top 12. So a really pressure shot here for Molly Whitbread.
Yes, very big shot here on the 4th end of play. Looks like they are sweeping hard early to try to get by their top 12 red stone. And they've made it by no problem. And it looks like they will roll just butting the center back edge of the 4, sitting the 2 here with skip stones to come in the 4th end. So Taryn, where are you trying to roll your shooter here if your Team Kui?
Well, with that setup they have on the right side of the rings with those 2 guards and that top 12 rock, if they can roll this right under there, it's really hard to get rid of. You probably end up seeing a draw from Dezormo if you can roll under those guards perfect.
It looks like they will hit the red rock, but it is going to roll just out of the rings. So Team Dezormo is sitting shot stone top 12. And it looks like they are going to be playing the in-turn draw behind the 3 yellows, as we see on the right side of the sheet.
If this shot here is made by Abby Dezormo and they get full buried, it's going to be a tough decision by Lila Kui if she wants to hit that top redstone or try and freeze and follow her.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I believe that if they end up sitting perfect behind the yellows sort of top 4 weight, I wouldn't be surprised if Team Kui opts for the hit off that top 12 red and even try to make the double or just roll and shrink the scoring area for Team Dezormo.
Absolutely. It's one of those situations where you almost just want to play the scoreboard. Sweeping hard to get it buried. And they will get it to bite the top 4. Looks like it might just be a piece open, but it looks like they are opting to hit that side red rock.
That was a great team shot there by Team Dezormo. It does look like Team Kui is going to be playing the hit off the top 12 stone. And this is probably what I'd be playing as well. You're looking at the scoreboard, you're up 2 right now. Giving up 2 isn't the end of the world. And I'm sure that was something that the team discussed going into this end. And saying that giving up 2 isn't the end of the world. You'll have Hammer Tide. Giving up 3, though, isn't ideal, though.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Probably the shot I would play too.
So it did look like Lila Kui did opt for the hit and roll and sit on top of the buried redstone. This is the final rock for Team Kui here in the 4th end, looking for the hit and roll. And they will just nose that top 12 stone. So Team Dezormo is sitting shot stone top edge of the 4. And they will have a draw opportunity to just bite anywhere in the 8-foot and get your deuce to tie up the game. So, final stone, 4th end. Abby Dezormo looking for a draw to score 2 and even up the score. Sweepers are going hard on an early heads down all the way. They just need a piece of the 8-foot here. And they just get enough, just nibbling top edge of the 8-foot. That will be a count of 2 for Team Dezormo. And we're all tied up 4-4 after 4 ends of play. This is the 4th end break, and we'll be back after these commercials.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
Don't forget your brooms.
We got it!
Come on up. Well, what do you got? You got one, you got two,
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Curling Alberta's 50/50 supports grassroots curling with a jackpot of at least $100,000. I know! Brace yourself. Join us aged 18 plus in nurturing these future curling stars. Support grassroots curling with Curling Alberta.
and welcome back to our 1-2 page playoff game here at the 2025 Curling Alberta Optimist U18 Provincial Championships here in Leduc, Alberta. I'm Taryn Elgott. I'm joined here by Stephen Leong as we rejoin the action in the fifth end, all tied up 4-4 between Cooey and Desormeaux. Cooey having the hammer. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some more. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some more aggressive play here in the second half, as both teams are getting more comfortable with the ice, having played some draws last end. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a center guard and a corner guard here.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's going to be a really good second half of the game, and just going off you, both teams did seem like they are more comfortable with the ice, so it looks like we are going to get some more aggressive style of play here by both teams. There is one other match going on right now, and that is the page 3 versus 4 game. And it is Team Elena Yurko up 4-1 over Emma de Skiffert. That game is in the fifth end as well, with Emma de Skiffert having the hammer.
Ella Cardinal here, throwing the come around for Team Cooey. Trying to just put this somewhere in the forefoot. It will just slip to the back eight, although mostly buried. Matt Rock coming to rest just a little bit wide there, fully open. Team Cooey opting here, looking like to hit this stone, sit there too early on in this end. They will make the hit and stick their shooter, rolling just about a rock to the right side of the ring. Pretty difficult to get rid of these stones here. Looking like they're just going to try and hit and roll to the center line under their guard. I agree with the call.
Yeah, I like this call too. I think it's good to get one of those yellows out right now. And if you can roll, as we see, two on top of the yellow there, it would be a hard rock to get out.
They will roll a little, but not quite enough, being fully open here. Giving Team Cooey a chance to try the hit and roll for themselves.
Yeah, so Taryn, I'll ask you this. Both teams tied at 4 in the fourth end break. You have those 5 minutes there to refuel, to rest up. What would you guys be talking about as a team and even as the coach? Like, what is the mindset going to the second half of the game? What is the message being brought from both coaches?
Yeah, really the fourth end break is just a great opportunity to devise a plan as a team with your coach how you're going to play that second half. You know, all depends on the score. Like, most likely, Team Cooey is trying to get a deuce or a blank so that they can go up 2 or carry the hammer into the sixth end, trying to prep for that eighth end.
Oh, and it looks like there's a
timeout here.
Technical timeout. Yeah, I didn't see what happened out on the ice.
So I'm not sure what they're looking at over there. Something with the stones. They're not sure what that was about.
No harm done though, and play will resume right away here. With looks like Team Desormo is opting for the double with this ice, playing some big weight here. My mistake. Looks like they're going to be playing the hit and roll underneath. Looks like it just does nose that yellow stone.
Lila Kui here calling the 10-5 hit, so like a control weight. Playing a bit of a softer weight just to try and get more curl. Make sure you get that roll under. Really don't want to run wide here and risk a jam. Casey Johnston with the hit here in the 5th end. That stone just running a little wide, but they do get rid of both stones, so avoiding the total jam. No, not the worst outcome from that shot. It was a great job of clearing up the center as well.
Yeah, it's not the worst outcome ever as well. Sure, you're a little bit disappointed that you're not sitting 2 out of this shot, but I'm sure there was discussion from Team Kui, being that it is the 5th end, and they do have hammer, that a blank isn't the end of the world for them.
Absolutely. Blank is a fantastic outcome here for Team Kui. If they can take the hammer into the 6th end, try and score, and then hopefully they'll have hammer in the 8th. That stone there, just running a little wide and will roll out. So now Team Desormo with the chance to draw under their center guard. Trying to bring the play to the center here. Maybe it's try and force a steal or force the single point.
If they manage to get the stone fully buried under their center, I wouldn't be surprised if Team Kui opts for the peel to keep the front wide open and at least guarantee a pretty easy single.
And they do manage to get full buried, but being back 8, Lila Kui will opt to play the draw here on the 3rd's last stone for yellow. Third, Claire Cornell here for Team Lila Kui, throwing the draw around, trying to get shot stone. It's coming in nicely, sweepers are on and off it. Great draw there, sitting back for shot stone. Leaving the chance though for Abby Desormo to freeze on it, being back 4. She can make this freeze sitting button. Should be set up pretty well. Sweeper is just trying to curl this over, try to get a piece of that yellow. It will stop Shot Rock corner frozen.
Very good shot. Very good team shot there by Team DeZormo. In a perfect world, I'm sure they would have loved for that rock to be half an inch over, a little more frozen, but that's still a very good shot and quite tough to remove for Team Kui.
Yes, and we will see the timeout here for Team Kui. Tina Ford Johnson is wanting to talk to the team a little more about this shot.
So, Taryn, I'll ask you, with the under 18 field here for Curling Alberta, been implemented for a few years now, where every end there is a coach interaction or a timeout. What are your thoughts on these coach interactions?
Oh, I think it's great at the junior level, just to help them more develop as players. You know, instead of, you know, for men's and women's, you have to speak with your coach, you know, only at the fourth end break. But instead, these juniors, they get that feedback every single end, and it just helps them develop as curlers. I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, I would have to agree myself. Even when I was in juniors myself, I think it was really helpful to have your coach put their 2 cents in. Maybe if you were making a wrong call, or just for the coach to confirm that your call is the right shot to be played. So I love how Curling Alberta is using these coach interactions, and I'm pretty sure that most of these athletes are big fans of them as well.
And Team Kui there will remove the red stone that was shot, sitting Shot Rock themselves. But now Team DeZormo will have the opportunity here. If they can get rid of that stone and just roll under with like a softer weight, they'll sit there too, and it'll be tough for Team Kui to score if that shot's made.
Yeah, it looks like Glenn Kennedy here is just discussing probably more about what weight to be throwing here, and probably telling the team that you don't ever want to be wide here so that it doesn't jam on that red, and you're probably okay to overroll onto the right side of the sheet there rather than be wide and jam on that backstone.
Sweeping it hard, try and get it to curl. Trying to cross the face of this stone. And they will just barely nick their rock in the back 8, but they do sit 1-2.
That was a great sweep there to curl that up. Not let that rock jam on the back stone there.
No,
it does look like they will... Sorry, I was just going to say, it looks like they will be forced, as the double looks like you're always rolling out in order to make the double.
Yeah, Steve, I was just going to say, I was wondering if they were maybe looking at the double takeout there. I think, you know, obviously it's an incredibly difficult shot, but with softer takeout weight, I think it might be there. But obviously a smart decision from them to, I believe they're just playing the nose hit for their 1. Lila Cooey with the final stone in the 5th end. She will nose the red stone in the top 4. So a score of 1 point for Team Cooey here in the 5th. So Team Cooey going after 5 ends of play, up 5 points to 4. We will be back shortly with the 6th end in just a few moments.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Curling Alberta's 50/50 supports grassroots curling with a jackpot of at least $100,000. I know! Brace yourself. Join us aged 18 plus in nurturing these future curling stars. Support grassroots curling with Curling Alberta.
Welcome back to the 2025 Alberta Optimist Under-18 Provincial Championships. My name is Stephen Leong, and I'm joined here tonight by Taryn Algott. As we see the first stone in the 6th end being delivered, with Team Desormeaux being down by 1 with hammer. Taryn, what is your mindset if you're Team Desormeaux going into the 6th end here?
You know, it's a really tight game we're in right now, and honestly, if I'm Team Desormeaux, I'm basically looking at anything but a steal. If you can take 1 to tie it up, it's not the end of the world. Deuce is fantastic, and blanking, taking that hammer into 7, trying for a deuce there, is also good. They just really have to be careful not to allow a steal here.
Great point that you brought up. There is one other girls matchup happening that happens to be the 3 versus 4 page playoff between Elena Yurko and Emma Skiffert. And Team Elena Yurko is up 5-1 with a steal of 1 in the 5th end. So Team Emma Skiffert will have the hammer in the 6th end, down by 4. So that yellow stone from Team Cooey will sit around back edge of the 12. And they also have a center guard to work with as well. So it looks like Team Cooey, with that center guard up, is going hard for the steal currently. But as we know, a lot of things can change throughout the end.
Team Desormeaux do opt to play the come around here. Yeah, I personally am a fan of throwing the corner guard in these scenarios, but it is come down to preference. If you can put a lot of pressure on coming around those center guards if you make it, but at the same time they do risk playing with a little bit of extra junk, you know, maybe higher risk of giving up a steal.
Yeah, I agree. That stone does sit top 12, but it does look like Team Cooey is still sitting shot stone back 12, as we see Coach Tina Ford Johnston call a timeout here.
Wonder what she's saying to them here. I almost think she might be seeing if they want to play that short run back on that center guard.
Yeah, that was my first thought when that red stone had come to rest top 12. It's about looks like 3 feet run back, so it's quite short, and there is no harm removing your yellow stone if it happens to be removed out of play as well.
Second, Casey Johnston here playing the run back. She will eliminate that red stone. Excellent shot there.
Yeah, that was a great shot there. And they are sitting 2 right now, spread across the house, both in the 12-foot. And the stone will just curl up enough to sit top edge of the 12, but it is still Team Cooey's sitting shot stone here in the 6th end.
That wasn't how that fucking worked.
So it looks like they will remove the red stone, but they will roll out in the process. So now, big decision time here from Team DeZormo. We're going to hit or draw behind that yellow center guard. It does look like they're opting to come around that yellow center. Do you like this call, Karen?
At this point in the end, I do. I think they probably should have thrown a corner guard earlier on, still during the free guard zone. But now that we're at seconds last for DeZormo, I think that was. I do like coming around the center guard.
Yeah, I also like coming around that center guard. They are shot stone back 12, but that does leave opportunity here for Team Cooey to wrap one top 4 behind their own yellow guard.
Sweepers are right off this one, looking a little bit hot. And it will just
like
slide
that one
to
will
the
slide.
12. Go ahead, Steven.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, I think for that shot, anything light is okay there. Even if you did come up, even as a tight guard, I think it was okay, because it does still look like Team Cooey was going hard for a steal. With that one coming deep and not sitting shot stone, this does give the opportunity for Team DeZormo to sit 2 and really put the pressure on Team Cooey.
Team DeZormo does draw in nicely to sit there too. That rock sitting just biting the top of the 4. Lila Cooey lining up the double here. What do you think, Steven? Would you be playing the double or maybe just trying to roll under your guard here?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's kind of hard to see from the angles here, but I wouldn't mind trying to play the double, especially with Desarmo sitting 2 here late in the end. I think it's definitely important to get rid of one, and if you can get rid of both reds, that's a bonus as well.
Keepers are on and off it, and then back on. They will drive it on their own and roll it out. Well, they've rolled over a little bit, so it's hard to tell if you could roll under. Looks like they are.
That's a sneaky spot there. And we do see that Coach Glenn Kennedy has called the timeout. I'd almost be tempted to play that intern chase with hack weight and just roll open side. And sit your 2, because it does look like Team Desarmo is sitting second shot right now, back 12.
I agree with you, Steven. You got to bring that back rock into play. Being as red is second shot here, if you can get rid of that yellow stone and keep your shooter, you will be set up for your deuce. It looks like that is what they're opting to try, to roll over to that wing. Maybe even, you know, using that yellow stone as a bit of backing if Team Kui were to try and hit it.
It looks like the sweepers are on this early, trying to get it by there, or get by the yellow center guard. And it looks like they are going to be by. And they will avoid the jam on their own red stone and sit shot stone in the 8-foot. So it is Team Desarmo right now, sitting 2 with the hammer.
Yeah, great team shot there all around, everyone involved. Good communication, good sweeping to get that nice roll over. Really setting up their end here.
So it looks like Team Kui here is going to hit that top 8 stone. They do have to be careful, though, if they do want to roll towards the center, not to jam on their own yellow there.
Lila Kui with her first stone in the 6th end. Trying to remove this red and roll over. She will just nose it.
That's probably as good as you could have done there. Any sort of roll towards the center looked like it was going to jam on that yellow. And any roll outside and you would have given Team Desarmo a free draw under that center yellow. So that's probably as good as you could have hit that stone there. Well, you do have to be careful here if you're Team Desarmo to not jam that yellow on the other back 12 yellow. If they are looking to play that roll towards the center underneath that yellow guard. first rock for Abby DeZormo here in the 6N, and she does have hammer down by 1. And that one will curl up in time. Pretty much hit nose, and they are sitting 2 with 1 stone to go for Team Kui here, as it looks like they are eyeing up the double. Would this be a shot that you'd be playing here, Taryn, on your team, the double?
You know, it's tough to say. The draw is very tempting, especially because you have backing with that red rock back there, because you know, you have to admit this is a low percentage shot, very difficult. So most of the time you will be giving up 2. But if you make it, it's fantastic. So it really just comes down to what the team feels comfortable with. If you're feeling better with your hits, play the double. Feeling better with your draws, maybe play that come around. Take that little extra risk, that little extra reward.
Final stone, 6-hand, Team Kui. Oh, sorry, this is not final stone. Final stone for Team Kui, but DeZormo does have hammer. But Team Kui is opting for the double here. And it looks like they will... Oh, and very unfortunate, it does jam on that back red stone. But a great attempt nonetheless, though, by Lila Kui. It does look like the one yellow stone did ricochet off the sideboard, so both teams are just agreeing on where that yellow stone should be placed. This will be an open draw to touch anywhere in the 8th that it looks like for Team DeZormo and get their 2. So final stone of the 6-hand, Team DeZormo down by 1 with the hammer and with an opportunity to score 2 here. And it looks like the sleepers are just nursing this in, just cleaning it in. And the draw is made no problem. Top 4. 2 points for Team DeZormo, and they will take a 6-5 lead going into the 7th end of play. We'll be right back after these few short messages.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
welcome back to the 2025 Curling Alberta Optimist U18 Provincial Championships. We're here in the 7th end of the 1-2 game between Team Desormeaux and Team Cooey. Currently is 5-4 for Team Cooey with Desormeaux with the hammer. And we're going to see probably some aggressive play from both teams here as Desormeaux putting up that center guard. And now Team Cooey trying to come around.
Yeah, one other girls game happening as well. That is the 3 versus 4 game between Elena Yurko and Emma Skiffert. And Team Elena Yurko is up 5-2 with the Skiffert getting forced to 1 in the 6th end. So Team Yurko will have the hammer there in the 7th end, up by 3.
And we're seeing here the no tick rule being put into place as that rock is being put back onto the center line as it was bumped during the come around attempt.
So Taryn, I'm curious on your opinion here. Your Team Desormeaux, you're up 1 right now without the hammer, and if your Team Cooey, obviously you're down 1 with the hammer. Let's start with Team Cooey here. If you're Team Cooey, what is your goal going into this end?
Yeah, here in the 7th end, definitely for your Team Cooey, you want to either score your 2 or get your blank to carry over that hammer into 8. You know, force isn't the end of the world, but you'd really rather get your blank or get your 2.
Yeah, for sure. And as we see that Team Cooey Stone just roll out of the paint, but this does give opportunity for Team Desormeaux to use their center guard and come right behind it.
Casey Johnston there, so close to making that perfect hit and roll. She will roll over just to bury a piece.
That's a great shot and almost made perfectly, but nonetheless, though, it is partially buried, so there is no opportunity to roll behind that center guard, meaning for Team Kui that wherever this red goes, it will be a wide open hit for them on their next stone.
Molly Whitbread will remove that stone and roll back to the wing. Great shot there. Claire Corneal with the hit and roll attempt. Sweepers are on and off it, trying to get it to curl. And another good hit and roll from Team Kui. They seem to have this ice figured out.
Yeah, that's a great team shot there by Team Kui. It is partially buried on the out-turn side, but it is in a different path now on the out-turn side versus that in-turn as we saw a couple stones ago.
Stephen, you having played third and second for a multitude of years, you know how difficult those hit and rolls are to throw and how often you end up having to throw them playing those positions. Just when a team can really nail those, it's so very impressive to how well they can read the ice and throw the rock.
Yeah, it's important. The communication is key on shots like that, and it might not seem like a big shot because you're just hitting a wide open stone, but it's really important to get that roll under in a really good position, making sure that your weight is dialed down. So whatever sort of weight that your team has decided on, usually that's about a 10 and a half second weight, but also making sure that the sleepers are communicating the whole way down, and that the person in the house is skipping the house is dialing down the line call as well. And so even though, again, those hit and rolls might seem like they're pretty easy or maybe not too much risk, they are quite important shots, and we see time and time again teams getting caught trying to do these hit and rolls.
Claire there with a nice nose hit to sit 2 here in the 7th end.
So it does look like that Coach Glenn Kennedy here for Team Desormeaux has called a timeout here. It would be Abby's first of the skip zones here in the 7th end. So Taryn, if you're Coach Glenn Kennedy out there, what are you telling the girls out there right now?
If I had to guess, Steven, I'd say he's just trying to get them to play this hit and roll just to group those yellow stones so that hopefully Abby has a double on her last. You know, it is pretty flat. You'll probably have to throw some bigger weight, but if you can roll right up against it or just group them up, hopefully you can make the double on your next and not give up a deuce here. Big weight here from Abby Desormeaux. Needs it to curl a little. And they just will go under that side red yellow.
It looked like from that throw that they were trying to play the double. Looked fairly tough though, from the angle that we had there. Nonetheless, though, it does get rid of Team Kui stone. So a quick score update in the 3 versus 4 game, Team de Skiffert stole one in the 7th end, meaning that Team Elena Yurko will be up 2 with the hammer coming home in the 8th end of that game. And the winner of that game will play the loser of this game between Team Desormeaux and Team Kui in a semifinal tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
That rock will just hang on in the back 12. So Team Kui here will sit there too, with one more stone each to come. Abby Desormeaux here opting to attempt the cross-house double takeout. She can make this one, it'll be a highlight shot for real, for sure. And they will just nose that stone.
Yeah, I don't mind where that rock ended up. You don't have much leeway if you're Team Kui here to roll anywhere. Alright, and at least like you can't roll towards the left side of the sheet. So it does look like they are opting for that out turn hit, playing inside out here.
Kui here with the final stone in the 7th end. And she will end up rolling one. It will be a single score of 1 point for Team Kui here in the 7th. We are all tied up going into the 8th end. Team Desormeaux will have the hammer. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
So you're a pizza person, but you're married to a wing person, and your kids are salad people? You can't pick your fam, but with over 50 menu items to choose from, you can make them all happy. Order today and enjoy Boston Pizza at home.
And welcome back to the 2025 Alberta Optimist Under-18 Provincial Championships located inside the Leduc Curling Club in Leduc, Alberta. My name is Stephen Leong, and I'm happily joined tonight by Taryn Algott. So Taryn, tie game 6-6 in the 8th end with Team Desormeaux having the hammer.
Yeah, this game is coming right down to the wire. Gonna be a treat for all the spectators here.
It looks like Lila Cooey's asking for the tight center guard after they put up a high one on their first. Well, it doesn't look like that rock is touching the center line, but that rock is pretty separated from the high yellow center guard there. So Team Cooey does have a good setup right now for the steal with the high and the low center guard.
Sweep for this one, hard to get it there. And they will freeze it right on top. Two fantastic shots from Team Desormeaux's lead, Savannah Dutka.
I don't think he could have put that in a better spot. I don't think he could have locked it down anywhere except for right there. It was an amazing team shot and really forces Team Cooey to make a great shot here as we see Coach Atina Ford Johnston call timeout here in the 8th end. She's probably seeing that this is a very important shot here for Team Cooey and company.
Absolutely. You know, people say that leads don't have to throw pressure shots or they don't have pressure on them. I'll show you that. That is two excellent high pressure shots. When you're in these tied close games in the 8th end, there's so much pressure on the leads to place their rocks absolutely perfect, and they just don't get enough credit for it. As someone who's played lead myself, it's not easy.
Yeah, I agree for sure. Even Team Cooey's lead there, right? Like all the first 4 stones
Absolutely.
in this end, you couldn't have asked for better placements. 2 guards, 1 high, 1 low. So there's no easy double peel opportunity. 2 red stone top 8, and then your next one being goes right on top. It's a great start here in the 8th end for both teams.
Absolutely. 4 perfect shots from the leads.
So it does look like Team Cooey is playing the intern draw now, rather than the outturn that Lila did initially call before Atina Ford Johnston called the timeout. So it does look like that Yellowstone does chop off that top 8, top 12 stone. But we do see the peel call here by Team Desormeaux. It is hard to tell here if they are going for the single peel or if they're going to try for that double peel. just misses the tight yellow, but it does get rid of a guard up top, and that's pretty good if you're Team Zormo. And if you're Team Kui here, you're looking just to replace that high center guard. That is perfect placement from Team Kui there. Right on the center line, as much distance away from that tight yellow as you can get. Great team shot there.
Absolutely, and those high guards are not easy to make, especially not on ice as quick as Leduc.
Yeah, you see it all the time, teams trying to make that perfect high guard, and essentially what happens is that rock gets hogged. And so to be able to put it just over the hog line is very impressive.
And we will see just the single peel from Team Dezormo.
So Taryn, if you're Team Kui here, how long are you putting up that high center before you have to make a play in the house?
You know, it's tough to say. I'd say probably thirds last, or maybe skips first. Probably skips first. You keep throwing the guards with your front end. They're making them. And then on your skips first, you probably have to play that bump or just move those red stones around.
As we see this guard coming in, we do have a final in the girls 3 versus 4 page playoff game. And Team Elena Yurko has won 5-7 over Team Emma de Skiffert. So Team Elena Yurko will be waiting in the semifinal versus the loser of this game tomorrow at 9 a.m. And now we see Coach Glenn Kennedy call timeout for Team Abby Dezormo. What would you be playing here, Taryn, being that this is the first of your team's third stones?
I can't really tell from here, but if there is enough separation on those yellow stones to make a double peel, it's probably... Oh yeah, you can see there. I'd probably be playing the double peel since that guard came tight. If you can get rid
the
of
only
both
thing
those
you do have to
guards-
worry... Sorry, yeah, I was just going to say you do have to worry about where that second yellow is going to go, if it is going to drag towards the center and towards those reds.
Absolutely, always got to watch for that.
And I'm sure that's something that Glenn knows really well. That's something when I was in the junior program at Ellerslie and learned from him, and was a big thing about angles, and especially knowing that drag effect can be big. And we might find out here what's going to happen with that drag effect. So they will peel the back yellow there. Leaves that one center line guard there. And it does look like Team Kui is going to be making a play in the house now.
You know, I do like this call from Lila Kui, taking advantage of that half miss there to just bump these reds back 12 and just leave yourself nose on top. Should set you up well.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, this is a pivotal shot in the game here, but if you can make this really well, then it really makes Team Dezormo's life a lot more harder and complicated. And it does look like they make that shot to perfection. What a team shot there by Team Kui.
Yeah, I don't think you could make that better. And they do leave that back red in the back house, which actually helps them as a potential catcher later in the end. I think that's just about perfect. And you saw there Abby DeZormo just taking a quick look at how much time she has left. Doesn't want to burn too much of her time. Still want to leave herself a couple minutes to throw her stones.
Yeah, what would you be playing here, Taryn? As it doesn't look really good right now for Team DeZormo, even though they are sitting shot stoned.
I do like what she was calling originally with trying to hit that side yellow and keep your shooter there. Because if, as tempting as it is, hitting that combination probably will not leave the best results. Even if you get rid of both, they have the wide open draw under. But if you can hit that yellow, be 1 and 2, and then let them play it, you know, if they maybe get a rollout or something, then you can hit them back and you'll be sitting shot rock.
Yeah, and I guess it just goes to the comfort level if you're Abby DeZormo and what kind of shot you want to be playing on your final stone. Because if you do try to play the hit on that right yellow, as we see on the right hand of the screen here, most likely Lila Kui will be playing a tap or a hit on the yellow that is frozen on the top 8 stone. So definitely a big call in the game right now.
Looks like they're opting for the tap here, just to move those angles around and move their red rock closer to the T line.
Yeah, I like this call, and this was what I was thinking when that Yellowstone had come to rest. Is just to change up the angles a little bit. If you can get a little bit inside of where that yellow is top 8, top 12, frozen on that red, I think you're looking really good if your team is normal.
Sweepers are calling this one a little bit heavy. Trying to get it to curl.
And they will actually end up hitting that right yellow. Doesn't remove it out of play, so it is Team Abby DeZormo sitting first and third. And Team Kui is sitting second and fourth, it looks like. So, Taryn, what kind of weight would you be playing on this intern tap intern hit as we see here?
You know, it's tough to say. Obviously, you gotta move that red far enough back, but you still have to leave your shooter in a usable location. If I had to guess, I'd say they're throwing about maybe a hack waiter. Backline hacks. Sweepers indicating backline. Just trying to get this rock to curl. Gotta touch that yellow first.
And it does look like they do move the red, but not far enough, as that redstone now stops top edge of the button. And it does look like Team DeZormo is sitting 2 with the hammer right now. If Abby can put this guard and block off that yellow tap, Lila Kui is going to have a very tough shot on her last.
Abby DeZormo with her first rock in the 8th end, trying to guard that yellow tap. Sweepers are calling it a little tight out of her hand, a little heavy. Trying to get it to curl. Needs to move over to cover that tap. It just doesn't quite curl up for them. So Lila Kui will have the nose tap for her last.
Yeah, it looked like that one was a little bit heavy, therefore it didn't curl up as much as they were hoping for. And in doing so and not curling up enough, it does leave the door open for Lila Kui and team to come through the port with the in-turn and tap that yellow up and remove the red to sit shot stone. Middle stone for Team Kui here, looking for the in-turn tap through the port and make Abby DeZormo throw her final stone here in the 8th end. And they will get rid of the red, and it does appear that Team Kui is sitting shot stone, but it is very close to tell.
So Abby DeZormo here with her final stone will have an open hit for the win to send her team straight to the provincial final.
So, final end, 8th end, tied at 6, Team DeZormo with the hammer, looking to make that yellow disappear and book their ticket into the provincial final. And they will make the hit, and they will score 2, meaning that Team Abby DeZormo has defeated Team Lila Kui by a final score of 8-6, and they will book their ticket into the provincial finals tomorrow. For Lila Kui, however, though, they aren't out just quite yet. They will drop to the semifinal, where they will be playing Team Elena Yurko at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. That's 11 a.m. Eastern Time here on Curling Stadium Leduc.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
So you're a pizza person, but you're married to a wing person, and your kids are salad people? You can't pick your fam, but with over 50 menu items to choose from, you can make them all happy. Order today and enjoy Boston Pizza at home.
Curling Alberta's 50-50 supports grassroots curling with a jackpot of at least $100,000. I know! Brace yourself. Join us aged 18 plus in nurturing these future curling stars. Support grassroots curling with Curling Alberta.